My Gardner friends, there is indeed good news today for Colts fans, for Butler fans, for IU fans, for Purdue fans, for ICE, whatever else there is out there. There is good news. The Bible loves sports fans. In fact, the Apostle Paul was a huge sports fan. You can take comfort in knowing, and folks who are visiting, I got to tell you this, every week during Colts season, when there's a home game, there's the blue and the white out there, and everybody's so friendly and attentive until the service goes over a little bit. And then you see this blue stuff just walking out the door. But you are not alone, because the Apostle Paul probably would have been right behind you trying to get to Lucas Stadium. He loved sports. In fact, he refers to sports and specifically boxing, specifically boxing at one point, but on 9 different occasions, he uses sports metaphors to try to get a point across. He does it here in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, 24 and 25, and this is from the Message. He says, "You've all been to the stadium," which I love. He assumes we're all sports fans, like so many of you do. "You've all been to the stadium and you've seen the athletes race. Everyone runs, one wins. Run to win. All good athletes train hard. They do it for a gold medal that tarnishes and fades. You're after one that is gold eternally. I don't know about you, but I'm running hard for the finish line. I'm giving it everything I've got. No sloppy living for me. I'm staying alert and in top condition. I'm not going to get caught napping, telling everyone else all about it, and then missing out myself." Today we have a special opportunity to get to know some folks who I believe will change your life. People who really understand this text in a very real way. These folks, for me, are living examples of what it means to be willing to run hard, to stay alert, and to go for the gold. It is Rock Steady Boxing Sunday at the Garden. Will you pray with me? Holy God, help us to become masters of ourselves, that we might be the servants of others. Take our minds and think through them, our lips and speak through them. Take our hearts and set them on fire. Amen. Very few athletes get the notation that they are indeed one of the best athletes of the century. One of those athletes, and probably the best known, is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was the heavyweight boxing champion 64, 68, and then again in 1978. He was known for changing the world of boxing with his drive, his technique, and his winning attitude. 2 specific moves are attributed to him, to Muhammad Ali specifically. The first was rope-a-dope. Do you know rope-a-dope? Remember rope-a-dope? Rope-a-dope was when he would get back on the ropes and protect himself in some way, and his opponent would just hit on him, but he would reserve his energy by doing the rope-a-dope. And then the other thing this heavyweight boxer was known for was his dance on the boxing ring, in the boxing ring. He would dance around, and he would wear his opponents out in some way. What I love most is that he is not known for punching people out. He's known for learning how to play the whole match, from the beginning to the end, the whole match. That's what he's known for. I think that's an important lesson for all of us, because this is a long life, we pray, and unfortunately we don't have dings, ding, ding every certain round to make sure that we're only getting hit at the times we can expect it. Life hits us at different times with different things going on, and we have to be in for the long run. Challenges can hit us at any time, and I think the only way that we can make it through life is learning to protect ourselves with our faith or with our beliefs, and also be willing to dance. Be willing to dance through the challenges that life has to offer. Today you're going to meet some folks who have done just that. And well, we do not have Muhammad Ali in the crowd here today, but I do have to say we have a Golden Gloves champion. In a moment, I'm going to invite forth Christy Rose Fulmore. Christy began her boxing career as an Indiana Golden Glove women's champ, and then went on to become the first ever women's Indiana state champion and NABC featherweight and super featherweight world champion. In 2009, Christy won the WBF. Christy has since retired from boxing and now works with Rocksteady Boxing. So friends, will you join me in welcoming my new best friend, Christy, up here. Ow! So tell us a little bit about yourself, Christy.
First of all, hello!
Hello!
Good morning, everybody. We are so honored to be here today and talk a little bit about Rocksteady Boxing. My initial experience and involvement with Rocksteady came through my boxing career. But the reason that I got into boxing in the beginning was that I was dealing with a personal family tragedy as a young woman and had a lot of anger issues and depression that I needed to get out of me. And I found that through boxing, I was able to vent some of that stress. And so those initial years, boxing really pulled me out of the depths of depression. I went on to become a boxing contender, an amateur and as a professional. And I had a really strong relationship with my boxing coach, Mark Lemrick. In fact, he had more of a vested interest in his boxers than just the athletic part of what we did. He really cared about all of us as people. And I really do believe that boxing helped me get through college and just opened up many doors for me. And I always wanted to do something with those experiences to give back to the community. I thought maybe I would be working with children or something. So when the opportunity to help Scott Newman develop Rocksteady fell into my lap, I was completely honored. I didn't know much about Parkinson's disease, but I did know that it was a debilitative, progressive disorder that wasn't going to get better through time, and that there was a lot of fear and depression and isolation that happened to these people. And I just knew and Scott knew that this application of boxing would be a great way to help these people stand up and feel better about themselves and get stronger through their lives.
I'm going to invite Christine Timberlake up now. And Tom, if you want to come up too, we'd love to have you. Or you can wait, whatever you want to do. Christine also works with the program. He's going to wait. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do with the program, and how you got there.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having us today. I became involved in Rocksteady, as you saw in the video, about 10 years ago when my husband found Rocksteady. He was diagnosed at age 36 with young onset Parkinson's disease. And let me tell you, that was a day I vividly remember in the neurologist's office, and my friends are all going, yep, I remember it too. Our charmed life came to a screeching halt at that very moment. We were scared, we were alone, we thought we were alone, and we retreated into the isolation of our home. Our lives changed that moment, and we disappeared from life for about 6 years, and it was ugly. We were a mess, really, until Tom came home one day and he said, I found this place called Rocksteady. And I said, that's great, you're going to box with Parkinson's. And I watched him over the course of about a month, and I saw him start to come back, and I saw some hope. And then I walked in the door of Rocksteady, and I was changed forever. This was a place of hope. This was a place of healing and acceptance. And now, 10 years later, we have 235 members in our gym. We started with 6, and everyone who walks in that door is courageous, and it is a leap of faith to face your disease and start fighting back. And these guys and the coaches welcome the new people who were once where we were, lost and alone. And you guys are giving people hope all over the world. These guys are reluctant heroes, but they're my heroes.
Outstanding. Not only do we have the two of you guys here today and some friends from Rocksteady, but we became familiar with the Rocksteady program through Bev and Tony Titus, who are gardeners. I'm going to invite them to come forth now, and we're going to do a mic handoff. There you go. And first, tell us a little bit about yourselves, and there are people way back there too, Tony, so I don't want to stress you out, but
yeah, see that.
This is more full than a matinee, mister. But Tony and Bev are gardeners. Tell me how long you've been gardeners.
Probably off and on for 15 years. I'd say the last 10 probably pretty regular, but with kids we couldn't get here very often. You know how that is. So when the kids grew up, we were able to get here more frequently. And
Well, we were on the road all the
Yeah,
time
that's true.
because of hockey. They traveled.
that's our
and-
excuse.
So yeah, we weren't around too much then.
Well, you're ours now. No more hockey games. That's great.
Right.
Your lives changed pretty dramatically about 10 years ago. Tell us a little bit about that.
While we were on vacation, my wife said, "Why are you carrying your arm?" And I said, "Why don't hold the microphone up?" Because I said, "I don't know." So I'm carrying my arm. So yeah, that diagnosis turned out to be Parkinson's. It was a telltale sign that I didn't realize. Also, I'd noticed I'd lost my sense of smell, and those are some of the things that are telltale signs. I didn't see all that coming, but you know that's what it was. And so I don't know. There we just, it changed dramatically from there because who knows where you're going to go. But went home and told my wife, and you tell the rest.
Well, he'd gone to the doctor because he had been holding his arm like it was broken.
Yep.
Only he thought there was something wrong with the shoulder. And so when he came home and said, we got to go for a walk, and we kind of walked to the side of the house, and he kind of broke down and told me it's not a shoulder, it's not going to be as easy as an operation. And so he told me it was Parkinson's, and I think we stood there hugging each other for quite a while. And
Fortunately, soon after that, I saw that Scott Newman piece on whatever news it was on, and I called Christy immediately and said, "I'm going to call this the next day," and I did, and got a hold of her. And Saturday, I went to the gym, and I've been there off and on ever since. It's heavy.
and made a big difference. I mean, he
Yeah.
just that the connections that you make, and having other people going through the same thing that you're going through, to be able to talk to them about
It's
it,
good therapy.
Yeah.
and learning as much as you can about
Right.
the disease or whatever it is in your life that is your misfortune.
Before I ask you this next question, I'm going to ask those who are participating today to come on up because I have one more question. Because we'd like to use this as an opportunity for those of us to get connected who may not know how to deal with the challenges of Parkinson's. So I want all of you guys to come up here because when we were talking a couple weeks ago, Tony, you said something about how you were embarrassed as you first received your diagnosis. You were embarrassed. Tell us a little more about that.
You try to hide your disease from people. Everybody does. You stick the old telltale sign, stick your hand in your pocket, which everyone's shaking, or you lean against something, or you cross your arms like this. You're not really hiding anything. Everybody knows it and sees it. You're just fooling yourself. So that was part of the embarrassment. I think I didn't want to look like I was handicapped or feel handicapped. I didn't want to be handicapped. I don't think I am now, but I did at one time. But you got to get out there and admit you have a disease and then fight back. And so that's what I'm doing.
Great. I'm going to steal that real quick and send it over to Christy. Christy, in light of that question, you encounter people pretty early on in their experiences. How is it, how do we respond? What do we say? When we notice that embarrassment or that challenge?
Well, I want to encourage first of all, don't be afraid to ask them questions. These people are a lot of times feeling very alone. They're, as Tony said, they're hiding their symptoms. They lock themselves in the house. Like Christine said, if you walk past somebody like that, maybe stop and talk to them. Don't just pass them by, because maybe they need a friend at that moment. I also want to encourage any of you that know somebody with Parkinson's disease to not be intimidated by what you see here. Most of these guys are they're higher functioning in their disease because they've been working out a long time and they were able to get themselves here today. But we have 4 different levels of classes. We see the entire spectrum of Parkinson's. So we have people that do this disease that have had, or do this program that have had the disease for 20, 30 years. They do it in their wheelchair, and we're just as mean and loud and wild with them as well. So if you know somebody with Parkinson's disease, get on our website, either send them to us or find one of our local affiliates and get them the help that they deserve.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. We need to hear those kind of things. Now, Rocksteady is a non-for-profit organization. And today, what we normally do is we will ask you to write a check to us. But we were so moved by this experience, and then also recognizing that not all the boxers can afford to be part of the gym, but they don't turn anybody away. But of course, what if you could make a difference? What if you could sponsor a boxer for a year for, I think it's $30 a month?
$60 per month.
$60 a month, or a half a year or something. Maybe you could make a difference in the lives of somebody else here. We'd like to give you that opportunity today. There may be an envelope on your table, but I noticed a lot of people giving in the first service. There may not. You can write a check today to Rocksteady and drop it into the watering can as you leave today, and we'll then add that to our total. And you are going to be here next week, right? No hockey games? Okay, then I'm going to give Tony a check. We'll give Tony a check next week. But we wanted to give you the opportunity to participate. There's also volunteer opportunities. Mrs. Timberlake will be our connection there if you have any questions. And I'm going to say at the end of the service, come on down and greet our folks down here rather than forcing those guys to go upstairs. But for the close of the service today, we're going to have something special, and my prayer is that all of you have been touched in the same way that I have by all these amazing people up here today. And I'll hope you use the opportunity to share this information with others who may need help or those who can make a difference. The truth about life is, my friends, is that we're all in a big boxing ring each and every day. Unfortunately, the rounds aren't timed, so we have to find ways to protect ourselves with our faith and our belief, and then just keep dancing. Today we have a beautiful example of what that looks like. We have all been inspired. We are greatly moved, and we give God thanks for Rocksteady and for the Rocksteady program. This group of folks, I believe, reminds us what it means to live up to the challenge. For a closing today, they're going to share a special kind of warm-up session.
Little workout.
A little workout.
We call them quick and dirties.
So if you want to be involved, just stand where you are and participate in the quick and dirty. Right here at church, you could say, hey, I was part of the quick and dirty at church.
Quick and
Let's
dirty
do that.
workout.
I'm going to do this. All right. But for a close, we're going to share in when I was at the gym a couple of weeks ago, not only did I hear the boxers out there because they make some noise, but then I heard this music, and I heard this very song.